Grab your scissors, wargamers. It's time for another unboxing on the joy of wargaming. Christmas came in June this year, as your humble host received a package from Irregular Miniatures, and thanks to the magic of Wargaming Christmas, it was signed on July 5th, 2020, and I received it in June. It's a Wargaming Christmas miracle. Yeah, explain it in the comments. I'm a Yank, so you'll have to do that. Before we open our little package, I wanted to show you, I got a couple of leftover aquarium plants from other projects. I am going to be combining these with another package that arrived. Not nearly as interesting as something from a miniature company, but some trees for the desert terrain. In fact, this beautiful little sheet is going to be turned into a dry and dusty featureless plain until I get around to doing a proper desert wargaming table. So, without further ado, I love Irregular Miniatures. These guys are great. A lot of people think their sculpts are a bit chunky. They are certainly using a lot of older molds, but they have great customer service. This came across the pond, across the continent, across half another pond to get to me in a few short weeks, and they're just great guys over there, so don't be afraid to use them. After all, Great Britain truly is a wargaming mecca. I don't remember what this is. I've been eyeing a couple of different projects and I ordered it sight unseen, so this will be as new to me as it is to you. Looks like, ooh, 5-star. Sky 1, Modern Family is on. Oh, Dukes of Hazzard. Oh, 51st. Oh, this isn't nearly as exotic as I was hoping. That's all right, because we're not here for to find out what's on the telly. We're here to find out what's going on the table. Let me show you some of these sculpts. We're just going to dump them out. I'm hoping that I figured out how to get my camera working a little better. Oh yeah, these are some unusual little sculpts. Look at that cute little cow. Oh man, that's going to make a great little addition to our fantasy table. And here's a nice. What are we looking at here? Zoom, if you would. Focus. Yeah, this is all animals today. I ordered the menagerie. There's a lion. I got another cow. I got another lion. The big one for this is, at some point, I've got the figures. I may want to run a little bit of Pig Wars. And to do that, you need to have pigs. So we got a couple of oinkers. I got some more terrain items, nice little fire with a pot. These unusual, quirky little... See, here's an example. There's a little bit of a miscast right here on these guys out of the way. See if we can focus in a little better. So you guys can see that miscast. There it is. See a little bite taken out? I don't know how to deal with that. I'll probably just ignore it and call it piece taken out of the pole. It's all about the animals. I had to throw a quick edit in there because my phone's focus lacked focus. As I mentioned earlier, I'm putting together a desert table, and it wouldn't be a proper desert table if I didn't have a camel walking around. And then we get to the meat of the issue. Look at this chunky little boy. Yeah, he looks tiny. We're going to hold him a little bit closer, but I wanted to give you an idea of scale. And this Splintered Light Barbarian is painted white, and I use him for scale purposes. I have two identical figures that I painted up as the twins, but I didn't need a third. And rather than just get rid of this figure, I thought this 15mm boy would be great for my terrain, which I'm going to be breaking out in a little bit to show you. But in this case, I wanted to show you how big this halfling figure is, and he is a proper halfling. He is a round little fella with a cherubic face. He's got a bow and a little shield on his back, and he is perfectly in scale. I had tried using 6mm figures for my halflings. They don't quite work. I mean, full-size 6mm figures, and the proportions are all wrong, and they don't have that Proudfoot, rotund, Tolkienian vision that all proper halflings should. But the other reason I ordered these figures is it's kind of hard. It's actually a little harder than expected, than you might expect to find puppies in 15 millimeter scale. And that's what I was really jonesing for. Irregular Miniature has them. They're a little bit small, and I'm very excited to use these because one of the science fiction rule sets that I use is called Rogue Planet. And in Rogue Planet, your leader has a kind of walking hit points. He can have 3 helpers following him around. So this may be a leader, for example, if I was using, if he had a grav hammer and a las pistol that you can't see, when he moves, they essentially move with him, and they give him a couple of power-ups. The doggos let you attack around corners. They extend your melee range by essentially 3 inches. You could bring along a halfling, and that's just essentially an extra hit point. It's science fiction, so you may bring along a comms guy. They're basically mooks that don't have any real effect, except that they give you powers, and as you lose hit points, they are eliminated, and you lose those powers. Well, my daughter liked the idea of having 3 doggos. I only had 2 dogs. Excuse me, I only had 1 wolf miniature. So with these 2 guys added to her pack, she now has a proper set of leaders for Rogue Planet. Fun little game, a little bit quirky, maybe 1 quirky bridge too far, but we won't hold it against them because we like new things. During the last episode that I did, Painting Alone Together, I broke out the terrain and chatted with you guys and kind of kept you company while you're on your daily commute. It was a little loud, a lot of scritchy scratchy, a lot of this stuff going on. That's no good. So I went ahead and just painted this up all on my own reconnaissance, and I think the paint job looks fantastic. I think you'll agree. I also wanted to show you a little bit of the terrain that's going to go in it. So here's our front door. This is from Alternative Armies. It's a nice little grav sled. One of these days I'll have to show you how I build bases for these grav sleds. It's not a big mystery, but it certainly does add to the idea that this spaceport is in the city streets. As you can see, we talked about how to build these planters, and here's a couple of planters that I built a while ago. And I just used little plastic flowers. Don't those look great? We can glue those in or leave them loose. My med bay is ready to go, and let me go ahead and throw in our actual starport and our shops alley. I've got a lot of terrain, so you can see those line up just like so. And our administrative wing can line up. And I'll move these closer here in just a minute so you can get a little better look. There you go. There's our scale boy up here on the second floor. As mentioned, they have to squeeze into a storage box, so my second floor I went with the optional half walls treatment. Let me move our entryway out of the way so I can show you the section I have done the most on. And we'll get around to building our shops. I've got some terrain I got to paint up, and we'll fill those out. As you can see, the floors aren't ready yet, but I need to take one last look at my furniture and decide which of these fine establishments will be which. And when the quarantine is lifted, my boys can go to town. Now, I spent the most time putting some touches on the actual landing bay. I had some, this is really simple, except it didn't glue down. I wonder why. I must have forgotten. Anyway, whether it's a parking lot, if you need a little bit more terrain in there for line of sight blocking, I've got some machinery that will go in here, and of course the classic Necromunda stylings. Most of this terrain in these will be holding steady and holding still. Like I said, I got to glue that down. I even stuck a couple little boxes under there, so you can see right there, and I have a nice little incinerator pit that I painted before I stuck the reflective gold lid on. Where that white dot is, I plan on putting a ladder here so we have another way for people to get in and out. And I wanted to show you one last thing. A couple of crates, so I just ripped these off of a circuit board. there's some kind of, I don't know, capacitor or whatever. And when it's time for storage, our little viewing bays will simply drop down there and make it easy for storage. So I wanted to show you one of those happy little accidents. I put, there it is. For the most part, I put balsa wood along the tops to clean up this top edge. I got all done painting it when I realized I'd forgotten a part. I missed that. And I said, you know what? That's fine, because if you look at the way this station is laid out, I've got an exit in that far corner, and I've got an exit in, as you look at it, in the northwest corner and one in the southeast. What if I want one more entrance? You know, if we're going to be running some Black Ops, if we're going to be running some spy missions, so to speak. I plan on making this a brig, maybe throw some bars across the way so we can do some proper rescue missions. Well, if you want to sneak in through the vent work, that's going to be right here. That's what that is. It was a mistake. I just didn't have enough wood, or I forgot to do it, and I thought, you know what, I'm leaving that black. If I need it, it's there. If I don't need it. And as I said, that's on the second floor, so when it comes time for scaling, where'd my scale boy go? Oh, there it is. Anybody in this hall is actually in a hall that lacks windows altogether. If you need a window, I've given you some visual indications that either you are dealing with a balcony and an overlook. Oh, hey, what is this? Yeah, vending machines. We're going to talk about that in our next issue. There it is. There's your entryway. These guys, I'm hoping to build a, for right now they're loose. I may put a permanent fountain right there. I don't know. I'm making it up as I go along. Tune in next time. Maybe you'll find the answer yourself. Maybe you'll find out the answer for yourself. And until then, thanks for coming along on the journey with me. I got some great ideas for small little terrain bits, and I'm going to show them to you next time. Until then, God bless you.